Hey, I want to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have George McGehrin on the line, and he's the founder over at the McGehrin Group, and this is a very special 2020 reunion episode. What is that? That's when I had someone out, a guest on in the past, and I liked him so much I suckered him into another episode. I had to bring him right back. So, George, welcome back to the show.
Adam, it's awesome to be back again. So I was the first time was fun, and I'm sure the second time will be great too. So I appreciate you inviting me back.
So we got a lot of new listeners on the podcast, and I don't want to assume that they caught your first episode, George. So let's just jump right in and let us know what you're doing over at the McGehrin Group.
Right. So we have two main businesses, right? So the first one is I run a 30-person executive placement group. So it's very high level headhunting and recruiting. So guys that make from let's say $300,000 to about $4 million a year. So we have clients that are in all different types of industries, geographies, as well as sort of revenue streams. So that's the first business. The second business that we have is we help those same executives, and we help them sort of tell their story in terms of what we call an executive brand, which a lot of times is their profile, their biography. Sometimes it's a board resume, and sometimes it's just sort of just overall marketing material, and that's sort of one of the second businesses that we have. So we've been in business now for close to 20 years. It was sort of both of my businesses, by the way, Adam, that were sort of, I would say mistakes turned into business models, right? Like I wasn't supposed to do this, and pretty much like anything in my life. But it's been a good 20 years that we've been doing this, and we continue to grow. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, actually.
Man, that's awesome. And congrats. I can't wait to have you back in the 2021. Then we're going to do that 20-year anniversary edition episode, George. I'm in. That's a big deal. Almost 20 years in the business. And so, going through this, asking you this question, I feel very good and confident on it. And that is, fast track to success, hiring mentors, coaches. Let's go into kind of what that means to you.
Right. So initially, there's a very long learning curve to find information, sort of to do the things in a correct manner. And I think the easiest way, and obviously it costs a little bit of money here, but the easiest way is to hire experts first, right? So by hiring experts, you're sort of piggybacking off of their 10, 15, 20 years of experience, and as well as their mistakes. And you're sort of able to take a shortcut. So where, they've already made those mistakes, and by working with them, coaches, mentors, and other folks, it just, number one, I think you save a lot of headaches. Number two, you're also able to go, instead of waiting, 3 or 4 years to sort of hit success, you can hit it maybe in a year and sometimes shorter, because you're sort of, you have coaches in your life. And I don't like anything. We have coaches everywhere, right? So we have coaches at home. We have coaches, you go to school, you have a coach. They're called teachers. If you go to church, or if you go to the synagogue, you have, sort of another version of a coach. And, I think it makes sense to have a business coach as well, and other types of mentors that can help you, grow and at least, sort of to lessen some of the mistakes that you might make, not because you're, sort of ignorant, but just because you're inexperienced, right? So your intentions could be great, and this, since you run a business, your heart is there, but sometimes you just need a little bit of sort of leadership in how to do the right thing, right? Or do I take path A, or do I take path B, or do I take both paths? But I think mentors, sort of just strong coaches can help you definitely shortcut some of that time and some of the learning curve of it. So.
Yeah, I love it. And I mean, in my own personal life, I think about that. I have these conversations all the time. So right now we're going to be opening up a call center, doing some other things this year. And guess what? I've worked in a call center. I've never owned one. I've never built one myself. I've never run one. So we have somebody that has done all of that stuff that's going to work with us on launching that and what it should look like. Why? Because they built one from 0 to like 400 employees. So yeah. I think that's a good person to lean on, right? I'm not can say how to start a call center. Like, how many more mistakes am I going to do if I just pick up a book that says that versus spend the money? I mean, the common sense on some of this stuff. And then another thing, so media business. I come from financial advisory background, so I don't know how to run a media company. I didn't know some of the things that we've done that we were needed to do. But based off of having those right people as mentors, we've probably been able to do what takes some companies 10 years to do in like 1 year or 1.5 years. So why were we able to do that? By very strategic advice, by having the right business coaches, by having the right counsel. Without that, I mean, it would have taken us 10 years to figure that out, like how to do this, how to do certain things. And so there's no accident in that. The people that I call it, like if you're not using mentors or business coaches or anything, I say, oh, so you're going to take a long cut. That sounds good.
Right. And that's exactly what it is. It's a long cut. And, you know, that long cut, what does that really mean? It means lots
could be millions of dollars. It could literally mean millions of dollars.
Totally. It will cost you sort of a fortune, right? Because you're making mistakes. It costs you a lot of time. Sometimes usually it will cost you market share. And a lot of times just, you know, like you get to a point where you need to decide, do I continue this or do I stop and do something else? And I think a lot of guys, you know, they get beat up enough that they just, and a lot of that could have just been sort of, I guess, saved, you know, if they had hired somebody to help them just at least get through certain stages, right? So, and I think and you'll see this through from a lot of the larger organizations. They have coaches everywhere. I mean, everywhere you look at, they have coaches, and there's a reason for it, right? Because it works. Number one. Number two, it's an easier way, but I think it's a smarter way to strategically run and grow a business. I mean, you've seen that firsthand, right, with your call center. So it's a smart way to do it.
Well, and also just looking at the higher you go in that pyramid of success, and I'm not speaking to the people that are on the top of that pyramid. I'm talking right now to the people that maybe haven't had the vantage point or the access to the people on the top of the pyramid. I've had that access. I'm not there by any means and not claiming to be, but I have had that access. So I've had those conversations, and I can say that the higher you go up, in my experience at least, the more coaches and mentors they have, and they do them for different things too. So not only do they have their business coach, they might have something specific in industry-wise. They might have a therapist. They may have a mental coach or a therapist, whatever you want to say. They may have, all of their different facets of life. They may have a marriage coach. So, like, the further you go up in the period, or in the pyramid of success, if you will, the more coaches and the more outside counsel. Because let's face it, the more zeros you add to your net worth, the more complexities and systems and processes are in place that you maybe haven't had to deal with in the past. So for those that are kind of just starting out, if you're younger out there and you're listening to this, well, just understand that, the basis, you're in college or before that, you're probably not going to pay for a coach or a mentor. You probably have people and access to people that can help you right there. Great. But as you graduate and as you start going up and your executive career increases or your success as an entrepreneur increases, the quality of coaches and potentially quantity in areas they're going to use them at to be most effective, it should get more complex, because the more complex or the more help you get on those ends, the more you're going to have space to grow.
Well, that's exactly right, and you hit something. You're sort of spot on about one of the points I have in my life. I have so many coaches that I'm working with on a monthly basis. I have it's like you said, things in the personal side, right? I have a nutritionist that I work with. I have a personal trainer. I have a running coach, right? Because I like to run marathons and ultra marathons. I've got to have a running coach. I've got a business coach. I just have all of these different people in my life. And
look at that! I counted 4, and only one of those 4 were counted on for actual business. And why? Because you understand your body and your health. I didn't even add that part to it. That just shows you're a little bit higher on the pyramid than me right now, George, because I didn't lead with that. So it just goes to show.
Well, think this is the thing, right? If you're, let's say, you have a business and even you're starting or you've been doing it a while, I think that if you're not physically able to produce, right, then it's all sort of it's all a moot point, right? Like you need to be able to be physically in shape to be able to make money and just to be able to produce, right? Because it takes energy, number one. Number two, it also takes just a lot of drive. And, the third thing is, I'm not saying you have to work 24 hours a day, but, you have to be able to be, to have some sort of physical resistance, right? To handle a lot of different things. And, having some sort of exercise in your life, I think, or some sort of training, it does help, right? It helps me. Actually, I can tell you right now, Adam, some of the best business ideas that I've come up with, for my businesses in the last 20 years, I've pretty much done, or they've come about because I was running, working some sort of physical exercise, right? So it's my form of, and I'm actually looking into meditation as the next thing. So I'm kind of,
so you can leave the knees alone.
I don't know. I mean, I think that I have a lot of friends who've have done very well, and a couple things, right? So they wake up early, they read a ton of books, they exercise, and they meditate. And I'm sort of, the meditation piece for me is that last piece. I'm a little scared. I guess I'm scared to meditate because I'm so hyperactive that I'm a little worried that I might get kicked out of the club. But
that's the best quote ever. I'm a little scared to meditate from this. For the record, everybody's from New York, been in business 20 years, dealing with multi people making $3 million plus a year. I'm a little scared to meditate. But we all got our thing. It's okay.
Yeah,
that's good.
I
love it.
That's my Achilles heel, right? So.
I love it.
So now I'm looking at getting like a meditation coach, right? So that's the next thing. So it's kind of an that's
awesome.
Coach thing. I mean, I just think you can listen. Like some folks will say, well, I don't have the money, right? Well, I mean, you can take your, I don't know. I'm not against spending $200 a month at Starbucks, but you can get a coach for, you can get a coach, maybe for a couple $100, and maybe that turns into like $500,000, and then you can buy your Starbucks, all that you want.
Exactly.
But so I think folks can find that money, and I think it's just a great investment, and it's just a terrific investment if you can do it. It's one of the things that I would have. I mean, I wish I had done that much earlier. So I just started getting like hiring coaches about, I would say, about 10 years ago. But if I was sort of a little wiser, I would do it year 1, year 2, right? So that's sort of the advice for the newcomers.
Man, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know you learn something new on the podcast every day. I didn't know you had that plague of getting your best ideas when you're running. I have the fortune of getting my best ideas when I'm in the shower, so I just sit there. I love it. I'm the shower inspiration guy who lets all the hot water. I'll let the hot water run out of the whole hotel and everybody hate me. I don't care anywhere. I'm that guy. I'm like, come to me, ideas, please.
Well, it's a great thing, but the interesting thing is it's not when we're working, right? Like you'd think that those ideas come when you're actually sitting, sort of working, and they never come when you're working. They come when, and actually we bring up a great topic about giving yourself space and room to be able to just kind of remove yourself from the situation, and then and then focus on kind of the idea, right? So I think that's an interesting point you bring up. I know this indirectly, you brought it up, but I think it's a great point. Like, remove yourself from the work environment. Just, let yourself relax. I don't know, go play racquetball, take a walk, hang out in the shower. And some of those great ideas, can come about when you're not so sort of in the weeds, right, as we say. So.
All good stuff, George. And I could talk to you all day long, but we're about out of time on this one. But we're going to bring you back on for another, so I'm not worried at all. But before I let you go, tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you if they want more information or to learn more about the McGehrin Group, please.
So one of the best ways is to find me on LinkedIn. You can just type in George, right? It's George, and then the last name is McGehrin, McGehrin. I've got 30,000 contacts. I think I'm maxed out on the LinkedIn piece. That's one way. The second way is you can just send a text to our team, right? So it's just 212-658-0801. Just send a quick text and, sort of let kind of what problem you're trying to solve. And those are probably the best two ways. And then, you can probably look at that on Instagram as well. But LinkedIn with a text is a great way to get us. And the last thing is, there's a website, McGehrinGroup.com, which is McGehrin Group.com, as the third way. So yeah, it's
awesome.
Adam, I love being on your show, and I wanted to say, by the way, to just congratulate. You're hitting some major home runs, and I don't know if a lot of your listeners know about that, but I think it's just a great sort of success story. And we were talking about this before, but man, you're knocking it out of the park, and you should be, good for you. Good for you, because it's a great show. You have great guests, except for me sometimes, but you've just done a great job with it. So keep up the great work.
Oh, man, very kind, and really do appreciate that. And thank you again for coming on. And to the listeners, as always, keep on listening. Without you, there is no show. So keep on listening. Subscribe to the podcast. If you're listening to this on the YouTube channel, so we launched that this year, Money Matters Top Tips. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us some notes in the comment section about what you feel about mentorship, and I will rustle George back up and have him answer them. So we'll make George do the work on that one. But thanks again for coming on the show, George. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob.
All right,
Thanks again.